my favorite show because it is my show. If this was your show, you'd probably like it more than I did. That's just because it was your show, but it's not your show, it's the Tom Green Show.
Now, what's the name of that show again? If you were in front of your television set last night at 11 o'clock, tuned into the Rogers Community Cable Channel, you recognize that as the theme song from... Now, what's the name of that show again? It's the Tom Green Show. Okay. Denny Green, you met Tom Green just over the last day or so. He's been on this program, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's quite the character. He was on here when he was fronting his rap band called Organized Rhyme, which is no longer. Well, he's 23 years old. He grew up in Gloucester. He is a part-time amateur stand-up comic, and now he's a full-time broadcasting student at Algonquin College, and he's also a part-time TV host, as we heard from his theme song there. And he's also, well, quite off the wall. And pretty soon, Tom Green and his show and his off-the-wall humor will be seen in, get this, Jennifer, New York City. Someone from Public Access TV there, which is the equivalent of our cable stations, got wind of Tom's show and decided to pick it up. It'll air Saturday nights in New York, 8 p.m. on Channel 16 in New York. So you can flip through while you're in New York, and there you will.
That's prime time.
Yeah.
Now, what's attracted people from New York City to this show, and people here in Ottawa? There's a real buzz about the program.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's an hour-long TV talk show. It's live, it's in studio, and it's geared mostly to teen and people in their early 20s. As I mentioned, there is a live studio audience of about 50 people, so that contributes to the whole energy. It's produced by Tom and his classmates Trevor Kavanagh and Darcy DeTony, and it includes conversations with guests, and the guests will include everyone from celebrities to butchers, so maybe shades of David Letterman there. It's mixed in with some taped comedy segments. It's a very gonzo style of comedy, very, very unpredictable.
Give us an example of that.
Well, just picture this segment that ran on the Tom Green Show recently.
Hi, we're on the street in front of my parents' house. It's 3:30 in the morning Sunday night. My parents have to work tomorrow. They have to get up early to work tomorrow. So it's 3:30 in the morning right now, Sunday night. We're going to go in and we're going to wake them up and we're going to see if they want to watch a Bon Jovi live in New Jersey videotape with me. Let's go. Okay, the problem here is the dog starts barking usually, so we're gonna have to go quick. Turn it on as soon as you open it. Yeah, pop on the sun gun. There goes the dog. Go, let's go, let's go.
Hey, Mom, how you guys? Oh, you guys want to go watch this Bon Jovi?
No, thanks.
Tom,
Come on, can we just go down and watch it?
Tom, would you turn off the camera, and I'll come out in a second.
Are you gonna watch the movie?
We'll negotiate this. Would you turn off the camera?
Daddy.
No, I'm not. I'll go to bed.
Why do you have to come in the middle of the night?
Well, it was a whim. We thought it would be fun.
What the hell time is it? 10 to 3. Forget it. I have to get up in about 3 hours.
Really? Yeah, I have to get up early tomorrow too.
Yeah. Oh, it's a nice whim, Tom, but forget it.
Do you want to just go watch it for a couple minutes? Just so we can see it on the screen together.
No, Tom.
Dad, do you want to come?
No, Tom.
Dad?
Really.
No.
Oh, this kid is bad. This is what we used to call a brat, Denny.
A little bit. He's just a grown-up brat now. And he's got a very dry sense of humor, Jennifer. In fact, when we spoke yesterday in the studio over at Rogers on Saint Laurent, I consider myself fairly quick, fairly hip, but sometimes I couldn't tell when he was kidding or not. Well, here's an example of how he had me fished in for a while when I asked him what motivates him to produce this kind of show.
I really like looking at myself. That's one thing. I really like watching myself.
Are you narcissistic? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I like just looking at myself, and it gives me that opportunity to look at myself for, 16 hours a week in an editing room, just watching myself, and on the show every week I get to watch it over and over. And
is that what you do? You'll sit down and watch?
Oh yeah, constantly. When basically any spare time I have, I'll just sit and watch myself. See how one big problem we had at first was Trevor didn't have a very nice backlight on my hair, and.
Okay, I finally caught on, and when I did, he did explain how this show has always been his dream to host his own comedy talk show. An outrageous comedy talk show, I should point out, because if you think barging into his parents' bedroom is outrageous.
We had one segment where we were going to see how much rice I could pour into my mouth, and we were going to have a 5-kilogram bag of rice. This was in the studio, in the live studio show. And I lay down on the desk, but before the show we went up to Loblaws, and we went to buy the rice. And as we were walking towards the cash with the rice, Glenn noticed that there was kitty litter in sort of about the same. He saw that as the same sort of sized bag, and we thought, well, that would probably be funnier just because it's not food and not really meant to be put in your mouth. And it's rocks and dust.
So they poured it into your mouth?
So we poured that into my mouth, yeah, whole bag.
What happened?
Ran out of the basically, that was it. They poured it in my mouth. I got up, walked out of the studio, and we threw to a segment. They threw to a segment, and I almost vomited. But
how far will you go to get a laugh? You almost threw up because of kitty litter. How far will you go?
Well, vomiting's a pretty natural thing too. You know, it's not really that big a deal to vomit for a laugh. You know, I mean, I didn't want to vomit on camera, but I mean, I think people knowing that I probably vomited backstage, you know, that probably is funny.
I'm glad he made it through that, didn't he?
Yeah, it's good to know. Don't try that at home, I guess. But Jennifer, it's interesting because when I saw the tape, I have to admit, I was just so wrapped up in how outrageous it was. Now, obviously, he was standing next to me as we were watching it, so I knew he was okay. But the things he'll do, 1 minute, Tom's jumping into the canal with full hockey gear. The next minute, he's taping meat to his head and accosting people in the Byward Market with a microphone. Now, I know it may sound sophomoric, but I just had to keep watching, and I was laughing. Well, Tom's co-producer, Trevor Kavanaugh, explained this phenomenon to me.
My usual analogy is the piece of spinach between somebody's teeth, whereas it's, you kind of can't stop looking at it. It's like really weird. You can't really explain it, but you're always drawn to watch it. So it's kind of funny, something funny, but you just kind of...
Gross sort of way.
Well, as time goes on, Jennifer, that spinach, as Darcy describes it, it could become even more outrageous, maybe even to the point where the creators don't realize it. Here's Tom again.
We're getting desensitized. We're really, really getting desensitized to the outrageousness of stuff. I mean, Meathead just seemed so out there when we first thought of it. Tape meat to our heads and walk around. That is friggin' ridiculous. And we were just in tears laughing over that. And now I look at that and... I mean, I could spend a week with meat taped to my head and not even think of it as abnormal. It just seems so normal now. And we're trying to push the limits of outrageousness.
Now, somebody who's very wary of this whole concept of pushing the limits of outrageousness, is Ray Hagel. Ray Hagel is the staff producer at Rogers Cable TV. So he's on the line here. He's ultimately responsible for what goes on the air.
We've had many talks about this just because it is so unpredictable, and you never know what's going to happen when you go out into the street with a video camera and some of the situations that Tom sets up.
Are you ever biting your knuckle as you're watching the show?
Yeah, quite a bit, yeah. I mean, we didn't even think that something might happen bad because of the cat litter. We didn't even think that maybe he choked to death on it, It's just, well, you want to try it? Let's try it. And luckily everything works out okay. So far nobody's lost an eye.
Knock wood. Mm-hmm. And it's good to know. But Denis, even though nobody gets hurt on this show, some people are affected by Tom and what he does. We heard Tom barge in on his parents in their bedroom in the middle of the night to watch a rock video. Where do his parents stand on all of this?
Well, almost by default, Tom says they've become an integral part of the program.
I have forced them to become characters on the show by barging into their house once a month with a video camera and pointing it at them.
How do they feel about that?
They tell me one thing, but I think they're actually telling me another thing by the way they're telling. They seem to say, "Oh, don't show up with a camera," but when I get there, they're looking right into the lens and walking me through the house and showing me their plants. You'll show up and they'll be hesitant at first, but then 5 minutes later, we'll be out in the backyard. I'll be up against the fence with no shirt on. My dad and mom will be throwing tomatoes at me,
Everybody's a ham.
I guess that's a scene, throwing tomatoes at your son, all for the sake of television. That's a scene I'm sure will make the cut when the locally produced Tom Green Show begins airing in New York City. A public access station there has agreed to pick up 13 episodes, and it's a deal with Rogers Cable TV right here in Ottawa. Tom Green Show airs live each Thursday at 11 p.m. on Rogers Cable 22. You can catch it then.
Boy, oh boy. Tom Green, congratulations to him.
Yep.
Thanks for bringing us that, Denny. That's Denny Grignon. It's now 8 minutes before 6. More Juno-nominated music now.